Lift off and the clock has started.
Go.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi Showbie with me, Richard Vobes, here on the 16th of February 2022. It's just gone 8 o'clock in the UK here from a little house in Worthing at the foot of the South Downs and the edge of the English Channel, but it might be a different time where you are. And it's only me today because it's midweek, it is Wednesday, and that's how we rock at the moment. But the lovely Julia will be back on Friday, so very much looking forward to that because we have a mystery parcel that came for the lovely Julia, which is interesting. Here it is in a little box that arrived unseen, unknown and undisturbed and unopened, of course. We have a letter that came with it, so maybe the person who's written the letter might well be out there as well. Dear Richard and Julia, on the topic of using things old school and favourite gadgets, please find enclosed an item which may well become one of the lovely Julia's favourite gadgets, as she'll be able to tell how long it is before she can go home. Keep up the good work. From Mike and Wendy from Nottingham. So Mike and Wendy, lovely to get your letter and this mystery box, but I didn't want to open it today, even though the theme is, of course, your favourite gadget, because the lovely Julia's not here and I wanted her to see whatever it is. can tell you it doesn't make much of a noise. So it is a mystery gadget. If you know what it is, send me an email, richard@vobes.com. You can guess what's inside the box if you want. Now, you can contact the show, of course, in the usual way on the chat room, which is very nice. Don't forget to put the @ sign and then the Vobes Show, all one word, the Vobes Show. And it comes up in orange on my screen, and then it sort of alerts me that you want to talk directly to me, because I know that sometimes you guys talk amongst yourselves, finding the show incredibly dull and boring and all those usual things. And that's completely understandable. So don't forget even to put the @ sign, the Vobes Show, and then I can see it. Otherwise, it's touch and go what I happen to read in the show. Also, you can give us a call, but not at the moment. The phone is switched off at the beginning of the show now, so that we can get going before people actually start to call in, because sometimes they call in too early. We're not quite ready. So the easiest thing is to switch the phone off. I'll switch it on a bit later on, but the number is on the screen, 0793 474 6790, being the number that you dial, and then it connects with me here in the studio. Also, if you want to send an email to me, richard@vobes.com is the email address. Love to see a photograph, if you can, of your favourite gadget. HW100 says, "Hello, Richard." Testing it out with the @the Show. Yes, it works. There we are. Very nice. What is your favourite gadget? Lynn B says, "My favourite gadget is my iPad on my lap most evenings." Yes, never mind a lap dog. She has a lap pad. Maybe they should have been called lap pads. That would have been quite nice, wouldn't it? So, yeah, maybe that's a good name for the, whatever it was, the iPad. What else have we got there? We have any other favourite gadgets in there? My favourite gadget is the computer, says Mr. Bazzaby, which is very nice. Thank you very much for that. Love to see a picture of your favourite gadget. Send it in to richard@vobes.com. You can use your phone. Some people have telephones as their favourite gadget. I had a very interesting gadget sent to me by the lovely Jane Cox. We're going to have a look at that a little later on. Colonel Crowrighty says, "My favourite gadget used to be a welding machine when I had old cars, and for building my 3 kit cars." Yeah, that sounds like... I did have a welding machine. I had... was it a MIG welder or a pig welder or something like that? And it used to... bright lights, big screen to sort of hide underneath. It was... it was quite bizarre. Beaten you all to that, says Connor McLeod. Not quite sure what he's on about. Beaten you to it. Is his favourite thing a whip or a cane? Or what else do you beat? A rug beater. That would be good, wouldn't it? Rug beater! Be very nice. So that's all right. Kerry Baldwin says, "My Kindle is a favourite gadget. I can read in bed in the dark." I've got a Kindle. I never really use it now. It was given to me by my friend Nigel. Do use it very, very rarely, but not for the last couple of years. But mine, you couldn't read in the dark because it was it wasn't backlit. It was just simply grey on. Well, it was darker grey on light grey. It was a bit bizarre, but it was quite handy. Seabird, here we go, the Vobes Show. Now, Seabird suggested this, so we're going to find out what his gadget is. He suggested the theme, I should say. "Mine is the power bank, as you charge any device anywhere you like. You could be in a field or a desert and still charge your devices. But how do you charge the power bank? That's what I want to know. Is it solar powered? Is it one of those amazing solar power things, or is it more complicated than that? That would be interesting. Julia says, "Richard, you look a bit like Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen." Is that... do you have to do the Welsh bit on that? Llewellyn Bowen. "A couple of discrepancies like glasses and no beard." I'm not quite sure what she's talking about. Me, a bald man, looking like Lawrence Llewellyn. I thought he had sort of tapestry coming out of his armpits. Yes, Connor McLeod says, "You're a Alan Davis lookalike." No, I would have thought a bit more like Jean-Luc Picard. What I would have thought, the guy was in Star Trek, or at least, no, not Captain Kirk. He came second, didn't he? He's a isn't he a royal, what do they call it? A royal Shakespearean actor, old Jean-Luc Picard. Is that his name? Is that his real name? I can't remember what his real name is. But you know what I mean. So that would be good. Michael White says, when I worked for the police, my favourite was Inspector Gadget. Ah, yes, I meant you had all those extendable arms and sort of all sorts of things out of your pockets and all of that kind of difference. HW100 says, you look different somehow. I can't put my finger on it. Yes, I am sporting a very nice, flashy, one of these cravats that I rather enjoy at the moment. Thank you very much. Yes, it's probably what you're noticing. Station Master's Choice says Sky Q Control is a favourite gadget. Sky Q Control, that sounds like some sci-fi series. This is Sky Q Control here. Are you receiving me down on Earth? Yes, we're receiving you loud and clear. Oh, marvellous. Sky Q Control is a favourite gadget so I can watch YouTube on the telly, closely followed by the DCC controller for my model trains. And what does DCC stand for? Is it like the MCC? Is it Dudley Cricket Club or something like that? It is the Dudley Cricket Club? No. Is that what it is? PlayStation 5, says Connor McLeod. PlayStation 5. Is that like Moonbase Alpha or one of those Babylon 6 or whatever it was? Val Pragnell says, hi Richard, my favourite gadget is a fabric shaver. Gets the bobbling off jumpers. Oh yes. Well, you know what jumpers are like when they get all that long hair and you get the old shaver. It's very good for armpits as well, apparently, if you have unwanted hair sprouting from the armpits. When you're just about to go into the sea, you know, you're wearing your old 1920s bikini. Station Masters Digital says it stands for Digital Command Control. You see, people who use these acronyms have got to bear in mind that not everybody knows what a DCC or the ABC or the MBE or the whatever it is. Use the full thing if you get my drift. That'd be much appreciated. That would be lovely. Ray of Hope says, I must have the wrong YouTube connection. Oh, I wonder why that is. Why would you have the wrong YouTube connection? Mr. Basilby, there's something about Richard tonight, and I don't know what it is. Oh, it's the effervescence, you know. I've been trying out a new coffee, which is rather tasty, actually. Now, here's one of my favourite gadgets. Here we go. This is a particular favourite gadget of mine. I don't know when they were first invented, but they're bloody useful, I can tell you. When you get to a certain age, you know, and you can't be bothered to make it all the way to the bog in the dark, sometimes you need what's commonly known as a potty. This I keep under my bed, as you can well believe, and then in the middle of the night I hook up my nightdress and I let rip. And I hope that I've positioned this in the same place each night because it's dark, you see. Sometimes, of course, I've put it a little bit down towards my feet, and in the morning I step into a puddle. But don't worry, I'm always in a bit of a muddle when I step into the puddle. I've only got the one eye. But yes, it's a very nice little piece. And, of course, it can act... there's a bit of yellowy liquid in there. It can act as a sort of hat, you know. But I don't do that. Because I drink copious amounts of tea or coffee... I use it as a giant cup. It's the perfect sort of size. It looks very nice. And, lovely smell. Lovely aroma from there. Have you got a favourite gadget? We'd love to know. Do send in an email of your gadget, if you so wish, to richard@vobes.com. I'm just checking to see if anybody has. Nobody has. What a shame. Now, on terms of the videos, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, on tonight's Vobes Show, we're looking at... Bernie has sent in a video. It's a further episode at Cromarty. He likes his tea, does Bernie. He likes putting crumbs into them. Crom at tea. Lovely Julia says, ooh, it made a noise when you tapped it. Yeah, oh yes, it does make a noise. Yes, sorry about that. Yes, it makes a lovely sort of noise. You can get the attention of people in the house, you know, when lunch is served. Lunch, ladies and gentlemen, lunch. Marvellous stuff. So that's all quite good. Colonel Cograti now says, my favourite gadget is any of my many bits of climbing gear to stop me killing myself. Well, that's the thing is, if you didn't put yourself into a position of peril, perhaps you wouldn't rely on them so much. But we love the fact that you do, because you've given us some amazing videos, which has, of course, frightened the living daylights out of us. Here is an amazing gadget. Mark Burgess says, currently this is my HDMI to SCART connector. It's a bit geeky, this, but never mind. He says it's come in very useful in the last few months. Let's see. It lets you see high-definition pictures on equipment with old SCART sockets. Here, do you want to see a picture of it? Here it is. It's ever so interesting. That's it. Yes, it's something to a SCART to HDMI. So, yeah, probably, actually... Oh, hello, steady. Probably quite interesting. Thank you very much for that. Ding, ding, the committee, says Conor McLeod. Ding, ding. Ding, 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 the committee. I beg your pardon. There's 3 dings in there. 3 dings in the committee. What was that? What was that film? 3 coins in a fountain. Everyone remember that? 3 coins. 3 coins in a fountain. None of them mine. Yes. Woody Jenny says, hello, Julia. It's amazingly new to me getting the word... Oh, there's something else. Sorry about that, Woody. Jenny, just reading it because it was there. Nuggets Van Life, he says, I have too many favourite gadgets to choose. Just one is too difficult. Well, of course, you don't have to have one. It can be one of any amazing gadgets. There are some stuff. Colonel Linby is asking, Pete, do you have a YouTube channel? Do you have a YouTube channel, is what she was saying. I translated that. Julia, oh, he said noise. I've read that bit. Yes, that's very nice. Mark Burgess says, a new fun guy treatment is working well. Fun guy. The fungus. Yes, a new fungus that I've been eating. My mushrooms. There's not much room for them, as everybody says. And Station Master's Choice, high definition multiple interface. Oh, yes, high definition multiple. What is the multiple bit in the high definition multiple interface? What multiple bits is it? Multiple connectors, I suppose. I have no idea, really, what it is. We're going to go to our first video. And then we're going to open up the phone lines and you'll be able to give us a tinkle on 0793 4746790. Do email in your favourite gadget. We'd love to show it on the screen if anyone has. I'm just checking to see if anybody has, in fact, done such as that. And nobody else. I've got some more favourite gadgets. Here's a favourite gadget of mine. Now, I don't know where I got this, actually, but it's a 3-pin plug. Talking of sort of those, thing, 3-pin plug goes in the wall like that, but it converts into, I think it converts into some of these gadgets which are American. So it's got American pins there, but also it's got the USB Universal Bus Interface, just to use the what's the reverse of an anachronism? All the actual words, I suppose. There we are, 3-pin plug, and that's a pretty useful gadget, because you can plug it in the wall and get electricity out of it. As long as you've paid your electricity bill, of course. Otherwise, it's pretty damn useless. Alison O'Brien says, you look like Brian from Magic Roundabout. Oh, do I? Thanks for... Oh, from Queen. From the Queen. My husband and I... Well, at least I don't look like Andrew, which is something at the moment. I haven't got a humiliated face. But if I did have a humiliated face, I would certainly wear it. And Mr. Mocky says, at Vobes Shows, see that new shaving soap you've had was really hair restorer. Well, that is true, actually. It is very similar to that. But I have got a new gadget, which is the best a man can have, apparently. It's one of those shaver things, you slap the stuff all over you and all of that. So we're going to see if that works on today's show. We're going to give a bit of a shaver a try, live on the show, ladies and gentlemen. But first, we are going to have a look at Bernie's video, which is at Cromarty. So let's go into the video box and have a look what Bernie is telling us all about.
This is a big surprise here. Did you see that? A cinema. Incredible. And there is quite an interesting building up there. I have no idea what it is. Well, I have to say this is really quite something here. Look at that. Looks like they do a little bit of, I'll say a little bit, quite a lot of repair work, maintenance maybe. The boats, I don't know about the oil rigs. What have we got here?
Hoses here. Can't stop it now. Oh, right.
That's very interesting, taking a boat for a walk.
It lives up here. We have to wash it.
I was different to a dog.
Push it forward.
Hi, Charlie Lund.
Ah, interesting.
I'm not.
The things you see in Scotland on a Sunday morning. And just for my grandson Oscar, here we are, Scottish Fire and Rescue. That would be one of the smallest fire stations you've ever seen, Oscar. I'm not going to go too far because we're going to be leaving in a minute, but did you hear that? A seagull with a Scottish accent. How about that then? Now, it's raining, so I think that will be about as far as I go this morning because we've got to leave. But that is the way up the street. There we are.
Well, how about that? Up there in Cromarty, probably a place that not very many people have gone to, apart from obviously those people who travelled all the way up to it and those that live nearby or indeed in it. But thank you very much to Bernie for showing us a little bit. Loved the lifeboat there. Superb stuff. Don't forget, you can like this if you're enjoying what you're seeing, and that's very unlikely, of course, but if you are enjoying what you're seeing and you think this poor fellow here behind the screen is doing the best he can, there's a bloke down there working the strings, then don't forget, of course, you can press the like button. And even better than that, if you really enjoy the Vobes Show and would like to see it continue, you can make a small donation at baldexplorer.com, which is the place where I take a lot of your cash, a lot of it actually. Pretty much all of it. If you make a small donation, 6 weeks later you'll find the whole of your bank account has been depleted. But that's just a sort of byproduct of making a donation to a balding bloke like myself. Anyway, talking of being bald, and of course I know and appreciate that you very much like staring at my bald pate. Some of you may have been suffering a slight mirage, a hairy mirage. That can happen on occasions. You can get too much baldness and all of a sudden you start to see too much hair in your face. It's just one of those vague things that comes as a byproduct of the Vobes Show. Now, I've purchased this lovely little razor, which I can't actually get out of the bag. Oh, here we are. The old-fashioned double-edged razor, safety razor, invented, I think, in something like 1901 or 1910, I forget which. And it carries a very sharp blade on the inside there. Ow, I did nick myself then. And you can see where I've cut myself earlier today. I sliced off half my finger. And it unscrews like this, you see. And instead of buying all those plastic ones or the cassette ones, you can open this up. I know you can't see it terribly well, but inside here is, you'll be quite careful. I'll just go to the close-up camera. Here it is. Look at this. Inside there, you get these old blades. Now, you may be all very familiar with this, but this after my 50-something odd years, let's not dwell on that. I am actually quite new to all of this. And you place... Where's the other bit? I've lost the other bit. Here we go. You see, this blade, dirt cheap. Look how thin that is. That's so thin, it almost disappears. That's how thin it is. And yet it's relatively wide. That goes on there like that. That plops on there like that. That screws on here like this. And then you cover your face in cream, and of course you can then... Ouch, Simers. You can, of course, shave yourself. And so it's fun. I love all this. The old thing. You get that going, you smudge it all over your face like that. It's lovely. I love the whole thing. And then you can buy the razor blades, and there's hundreds in here. Well, there's 100 actually. There's 100 razor blades in here, all in this packet like that. Tiny little things. You may have seen me demonstrate some of it on the Bald Explorer, but yes, I'm absolutely thrilled. That's one of my new favourite gadgets, and I love the old technology of it. Never mind this new technology. I just love the old-fashioned way of doing things. And as you will probably know from the show, or the Bald Explorer show, I've been trying to explore more and more about the old ways of doing things, which are, I don't know, there was just something magical about it. And all of a sudden, we have all these modern ways of doing things, which takes away the fun. You know, people, they've got these Alexa, turn off the lights, these things that you no longer have to get up and do things. You don't have to change the television or anything. It's supposed to be making our life so much easier, but actually, I think it's taking away something. But I'd be interested to know what your favourite gadgets are. Don't forget you can email in, as I believe a few people have done. Anne Bolton has very kindly sent in an interesting gadget here. Let me just read the email first of all. She says, my favourite gadget is my tile. It's on my car key and mobile phone app. It beeps so I can find either my phone or key. Not good if I lose both at the same time, though. Well, of course, that does stand for reason. Let's have a look at it. There we are. It's a little plastic coated tile. Presumably inside there is some form of chip or mini computer. So that would be quite good. Yeah. So there we go. Thank you very much, Anne. Very much enjoyed that. Thank you very much. Don't forget you can send in yours. Ron Langley has sent in his. Richard, this is one of our favourite gadgets, our lovely Dansette record player. Others being our laptops and mobile phones, of course. And he sent in 2 pictures. And here is the first one. Oh, I didn't realise I was already showing that, which is very nice. Look at that. How lovely is that? That is very nice. Very, very swish. Love it. And there it is. How delightful is that? Yes, dance set. Or is it dance set? Is it dance as in have a dance? Look, you get the treble, the bass, the volume, and the on and off. You don't want much more than that, really, do you? So thank you very much for sending those in. Very kind. Very, very kind indeed. Nugget, Richard Sugget, Nuggets Van Life says, Richard, wait till you try a cutthroat razor. Thinking about that makes me want to shave again. Yes, I am thinking about trying a cutthroat razor as well. Probably not on this bit. I'll use the safety razor up here. And I would like to give it a go. It's just the idea that you just sharpen the one blade. You don't have to deal with anything else. But I love this. I think this little gadget is brilliant. And also the other thing is because you're not using up all that plastic, which you've got to admit is grand. I should turn the phone on in a second. Peaky blinder, not quite sure what that means, Sean. And any other comments? Just scrolling down. Richard Vobes is a rock star, says Sean. Thank you very much. Yes, a rock star. Rock those stars. Quite how I get up there, probably a very large ladder. Station Master's Choice, thank you. I try to get things that others would ignore. Good for you. We love it. Keep sending your videos in. So that's, I'm just looking to see if there was any other bits and bobs in the thing. Turkish barbers all do it, says Sean. Turkish barbers, what, do the old cutthroat? Yeah. But I don't really actually want to cut my throat if I can help it. So that would be good. Now, before I turn the phone on, another favourite gadget of mine that was sent in by the lovely Jane Cox. Anyone tell me what that is? What's that? Some of you will know, of course. Anybody know? Can you tell me what this little gadget here is for? It's a lovely little gadget. Little bell. And a long stick. Anybody know? Be fascinated if you know the answer to that. Let's have a look. We've got a few things coming in. Don't get into a strop about shaving with a cutthroat. No, I'm not going to get into a strop about it. I'll do my best. Shane Pike says, put out candles. Sean says, Peaky Blinder is seed raisers into... Peaky Blinders seed raisers into their caps. None. I have no idea what that means. Candle Snuffer says, stars. Candle snuffer, a lot of people saying candle snuffer, candle snuffer, candle snuffer, candle snuffer. A lot of people copying everybody else, I think. To put the light out. Put that light out! Don't you know there's a moron? A war on? Trapping little spiders. Well, Martin could well be right. Mark Burgess says, is it a candle snuffer? Well, of course, let's just see if you are right. For another gadget that was given to me by my neighbour, Luke. Lovely chap with three, sometimes it feels like 4 or 5, delightful children. He parks at the rear of where I live, and we often have a good old conversation. Well, the other day, he said, I saw these in a charity shop, and I thought of you, not the candle, obviously, there was 2 of them. Made in England, British steel, stainless, silver-plated, absolutely lovely. He bought them, and he brought them round. And what a lovely bloke, I can tell you. Very nice chap. That's Luke. Thank you, Luke. I don't know whether Luke's watching or not. But that's really nice. And, of course, that white sticky thing, that is a candle. Now, good job I haven't got any long synthetic hair or anything near this, because I'm going to strike a light. And if you can see that, there we are. Strike a light, mate. Strike a light. So we're going to do this live on the show. Blow out the candle. There we are. Look, we have a candle, ladies and gentlemen. We have a candle. And what I'm going to do, just so you can see it, I'm going to put the candle... Nearly blew it out. That defeats the whole nature of the show, doesn't it? Right, so there we are. We've got the candle, and it's night time now. I'm going to go to bed. Night-night, everybody. Night-night. Good night. Night-night. 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 Sleep well. Sleep tight. Sleep tight. All of that. And then you get your candle snuffer. This is like conjuring up the ghosts of yesteryear, ladies and gentlemen. And, of course, what you do is you put it on the thing you want to put out. Oh, no, not me. Not me. And, ladies and gentlemen, before your very eyes, there it is. How about that? So, Jane Cox, I don't know if you're watching, but I'm going to have to get this into a Bald Explorer episode, because I know you watch that. And that's it. That is your candle snuff, and that is your candle snuffed, well and truly snuffed out. This is a mysterious box. Anybody know what's in it? I have no idea, but we're going to open that on Friday. Snuff Garden, cutting edge, says Conor McLeod. Certainly is. Yes, we do like to have a bit of cutting edge stuff here. Brilliant Danset prints. I have a large collection, says John. of dance sets. Great to see someone else like them too. Yeah. Mark Burgess says, is this the BBC too? No, definitely not. We don't have a licence for the BBC. I love the new candle holder. Beautiful, says the lovely Julia. They are, and they both look absolutely wonderful, and they wouldn't fit the church candles, says Mark Burgess. No, probably not one of those old Roman candles, of course. And Sean James Cameron says, you could make thousands from that candle. How do you mean, thousands? Maybe. And Ricky D, he says that's some kind of Paul Daniels magic going on there. Oh, yes. We're just waiting for another date, by the way, for when Ricky D can make it. Sometimes we get a fig, but mostly we get a date, which is rather nice. So let's try putting on this phone then. I noticed that various people have been ringing, even though I've said the phone is off. Well, it's on silent, actually. I do turn the phone on, to be honest with you, but it's on silent, so I can't hear it. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do it now. Hang on, if I can work out. For some reason, on these pay-as-you-go phones, which is what this is, I keep getting this thing telling me, you've used 0 of your credit. Yes, because I don't have any credit. Stop telling me all of that rubbish. No, thanks. I don't want that. No. Oh, I have a phone call coming in. I'm not even plugged in. Hang on. How do we... There we go. Hang on a minute. I need to plug it in first. Where's the plug? I haven't plugged it through to the desk. Some people are... Oh, they're impatient, aren't they? Right, now, we do have a phone call, ladies and gentlemen. It's all very exciting. Let's find out who it is urgently ringing the show. Hello.
Hello, Sir Richard.
Alan Sandell, how the devil are you? Thank you very much for calling in, urgently coming through to the show. What's your favourite gadget?
Urgently, yes. No idea what you're talking about, but it sounds very interesting.
Oh, right, okay. What is your favourite gadget, young man?
Gadget?
Yeah, we've been talking about... Do you just keep the volume on silent doing this and just think, oh, look, it looks like he's indicating the phone, I'll ring it. Do you ever have any friends or anything like that? We just your local friend now? Is that how it works?
Yes, you're my local friend. My favourite gadget would be a tin opener.
A tin opener. Are you living...
Yes.
You see, now I've got this image of you. This is your favourite gadget, so therefore you're sort of probably living in a very small little flat somewhere, surrounded by tins. You barely go out, and when you do, it's just to stock up one of those string bags with tins, and you bring them home, and you go, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, which soup will I open today?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you do with your tin opener? Which type of tins do you open?
Oh, well, beans.
Beans, yes, beans. They're a must, aren't they? Anything else?
No, that's about it, I think.
That's it. You rung up the Vobes Show, pushed everyone else aside, so you can tell us your favourite gadget is a tin opener of which you only solely open beans.
Yes,
may I suggest
sad.
that I know sad. I wish I had a violin in the house. Julia's got a violin, but there's no strings on it. Otherwise, we need to get you interested in something more than just tin openers and beans. Stars has come to your rescue. You can throw that tin opener away because most tins, she says, have ring pulls on these days.
Yeah, well, not tins of beans.
But not tins of beans. The thing is, that's dangerous, isn't it? Those ring pulls, if you're blind, you could be opening tins of lager thinking that you're going to actually have beans, or vice versa. You could be opening all sorts of things that have got ring pulls these days. I mean, how would you know? I mean, I'm half blind. It would be a worry for me. Yeah.
Indeed, I'm going blind as well, apparently.
Are you?
Yes.
Why is that? What have you done?
I went to the optician yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he said, the good news is your eyes are getting better, and the bad news is that's because you are getting cataracts.
They're getting better because you've got cataracts. How does that work? That's like chopping your head off and gluing it back on again, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Very weird.
It is very weird.
Yeah. The eye pressures go down as the cataracts develop.
Right. Can they not clean? They can clean off cataracts now, can't they? They just give them a scrape or something, don't they?
Well, the optician did send a message to my doctor asking for a procedure to be done.
Yes. Does your doctor do brain surgery? Does he?
My mother had cataracts, and they said she was too old to have surgery.
Oh. It's cataracts,
So
not
she
catamaran, just for the benefit of some people who are thinking you're talking about boats. You're too old for surgery. You're only a young whippersnapper, aren't you? Only 70 or something?
No, well, my mother was too old.
Oh, how old was she? Older than you, I suppose.
In her 90s.
Oh, that's not old, is it? I mean, do you think
and
that if
they
the
said-
Queen needed cataracts, she would be too old?
My husband, deceased, and I are never too old. Andrew, give me your HRH. Give me your HRH. I want your HRH. You've disgraced the family. Disgraceful.
She wouldn't be.
Sorry.
She wouldn't be too old. But my mother had cataracts
Yeah.
and was almost blind and very deaf. And when she was 95 years old, she said to me, "What is the point?"
Well, it's on the end of a pin, isn't it? It's very sharp, and it can, if you're very unlucky, draw blood. Depends where you put it. If you bung it into your eyes, that would probably make you blind. So I wouldn't take the point there. Definitely.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
Yeah,
thank
that
you
was
for that. You've taken us right down to the bottom there, and we now feel dreadfully miserable. And somehow I've got to pump the show back up to make everybody else who's watching, feel that there's reason to live.
Go for it.
Yeah, no, go for it. Well, enjoy your beans. I hope you use your wonderful gadget. It's be lovely to do that. Look after yourself, Alan.
All the best.
Yeah, take care. All the best. Bye. I think he's gone. Are you gone? No idea. Anyway, there we are. That was Alan Sandell with his favourite gadget, a tin opener. Very useful gadget, though, you've got to admit. Not everything has those, whatever it was. Just trying to get the thing to shut. This is Ray of Hope. He says, "This is my favourite gadget." I wonder if you can guess what it's going to be. Yes, there it is. Look at that. Whoa, that's his Yamaha keyboard. And if you thought you could take that down the road and do a wheelie on it, you would be thinking of the wrong kind of Yamaha. So there we go. Oh, we have another phone call by the looks of things. Let's find out. Hang on, I'm trying to answer this. There we go. I've managed it. Let's find out who's on the line. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show.
Sean from London.
Sean from London. How are you doing, Sean?
I think my favourite gadget would have to be a video camera.
Oh, yes. But now,
I've had one
video... You're gone.
Well, I've had one since I was about 15, 16.
Video or from cine or something to video?
No, well, it was VHS cameras.
Oh, yeah, the VHS cameras.
And I remember that I wanted a VHS camera, but I was told, no, it'll just be a fad.
Yes.
So I managed to convince the school to buy one.
Oh, did you?
And I used theirs for a year, and therefore I demonstrated that it was something that I was into.
Right.
And still they weren't, impressed. So I started buying all the gadgets, and I bought every single thing you needed, and then they went, well, we may as well buy the camera now.
Oh, right. But at least you owned it, and you could use it yourself, and you didn't have to rely on the school.
Yes. So, and then when I was in my teens, and in my 20s, they used to say, is that camera stuck to your hand? Because everywhere I went, the camera went, and I filmed a load of stuff.
Were
So
you
now
filming on big-sized VHS, you know, or the VHS-C?
maybe for a year or two, but then it sort of quickly went into hiate.
Right. And that was the hiatus of it.
It was, and I've got thousands of these tapes in the house.
And are they watchable?
Yes,
I
just
mean,
need to.
by watchable, I mean not just hours of here's a road and people walking along. Like,
No,
you
but
know,
that's
like you
what-
see on some YouTube channels in which they make an absolute fortune by almost just switching on the camera and just sort of, you know, moving it around here, there, up, down, left, right, up and down, all over the blooming place. No editing, no sense of occasion or anything.
So what I used to do was I used to take songs by Max Boyce
Oh.
and put pictures to it. And I used to go to the local events and to film them. So I've got a lot of footage now of the 80s of back in the days. You could go down the street and you'd see the miners would just be sat on the doorstep waiting for the bus to take them to the pit, or they'd just come home, or, you know, that type of thing.
I've heard of Max Boyce, but because he's a Welsh singer, presumably, but I don't really know what kind of stuff he sang. Could you give us a demonstration? Because I know you have a good old voice there.
He's a Welsh comedian.
Oh right. Oh okay.
Which throws in a few songs, but it's all about the rugby.
Oh right. Okay. Give us a bit of a Max Boyce rugby song.
Mox the mechanic. I remember him well. He once built a rocket, and so it is said, from an old winding engine that he found on the Dole, built in the Rhondda and powered by coal. And then all the audience would then take part, you know. And he'd come on stage with his leak.
With his leak just to show his Welsh.
Oi, that one.
Oh, Oggy, is that the bloke?
Oi.
Oi, oi, oi. I can't bring a picture of what he looks like in my. I'm gonna have to go and quickly just have a Max Boyce.
I think he's still around. He's got curly hair.
Right.
Max Boyce.
Oh yeah, here we go. Got some pictures.
B-O-Y-C-E.
Yeah, got some pictures coming up here on the show. There we are. Look at that. Care of Max Boyce. Marvelous stuff.
Actually, this was my first introduction to TV, because they came to our school to make a documentary. So I was in a documentary that went out in the 80s, and then a few years later, when I started to get into theatre and TV, used to do a program every Sunday night live from the local theatre. So I used to go and help.
Oh right.
And you know what it's like. You're 16 and you try and please people.
Yeah.
And there were cables all over the floor, and the show went live at 7 o'clock. And I saw a cable, and I thought, I'll just lift that up to tidy it. And as I lifted it up, Ruth Maddock ran on stage, fell flat on her face, and went across the stage. So for the rest of the series, she was pushed on pushed on stage in a wheelchair and her leg in plaster. And that's when I decided, don't try and help.
Don't try and help. Okay, I thought you were going to say all the lights went out or the cameras went off or something like that. You know, lifted it and it unplugged the thing. But yeah, you're right. She just tripped on it.
No, well, I didn't see her because she was right in the far end of the wings, speeding up. You know, like to come on
yes.
in a bit of gusto.
Oh, I see.
And she came on stage. She flew across, went straight into the orchestra pit, and the house came down. Everybody was in stitches because they thought it was part
of the act.
Part of the act.
Until they came the next week and saw her in a wheelchair. My goodness, that is terrible.
But because it was the BBC, they couldn't cut to an ad break. So the ambulance turned up, and Max Boyce throughout the show would just go, "Hold on, let's just go and have a look. Is she breathing? Right. All right then. Right. Let's have a song about the coal mines." and in the corner, they're there trying to deal with her.
Nightmare. There we are. That's the sort of thing that does happen in live theatre. and you would never know.
But a camera. I've never been without a camera since. And I've always filmed something every day. So I think it would be a massive thing for it to be taken off me, or say if I didn't do it again.
Yeah, no, gosh, I imagine. Absolutely. Well, it'd be the same with me, although I did take a break whilst I was writing kids stuff, and actually I took a bit of a break from doing filming. When I was young, 16 and what have you, I used to film on Super 8, and trying to do audio on Super 8 back then with a little bit of magnetic tape called stripe that used to go down the side of the... we're talking in the sort of 70s, around about sort of 78, 79 sort of thing. And I was trying to do these little films, and I just couldn't get sound, lip sync and all of that, and it was very expensive. And I just thought, I can't do this. And then video came, and it was quite expensive to get going on it. And I just thought, I can't do what they do on the telly. But as the technology changed, and I realised I could, I ended up with a VHS full-size camera, and started to get back into it.
See, my version of that is, when I started, it was like £1,000 a day just to hire the equipment and to hire the edit suite. So I did all that. I invested in sort of further career, and I did shows for the BBC. And the more I got into it, the more the equipment got cheaper. And then all of a sudden, we don't want you to do the video now because Di's got a son who's 14 and he can do it on his phone.
Yeah.
And now everybody can do it. Everybody can do it, and I've spent a fortune.
Yes. Oh, I mean, you remember when the cameras were like £40,000 for a Beta SP camera.
I actually spent an extra year in school because you had to have physics in those days to go into TV.
It is bonk. Now you just have to have an iPhone and a connection.
Well, now,
or you just have to be woke.
Now kids can just stay in bed and put the camera on and go, "Hello, welcome to my channel."
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, listen, must crack on, but thank you for that. That's fascinating stuff.
Rightio, bye for now.
Take care, Sean. Marvellous. There we are. Sean from London. This is... who is this? This is Martin Muddy Boots. Muddy Boots has sent this in as his favourite gadget. What a lovely gadget. Now, I wouldn't mind one of those. I would love to have one of those candlestick ones. You know, the ones that are... that you see in the Laurel and Hardy phones that you hold up like that. I don't know if they're still available, probably from somewhere. But all these sort of wonderful things like this from the old days, it just seem to be going up and up and up in value and more expensive. And it's like first edition books. I want the book. And I've said this in my Naked Englishman podcast, by the way. If you don't listen to the Naked Englishman, I don't know what you do in the mornings. And I was talking about this, about how sometimes you're looking for an old book because you just want to read the old book, but they never made more than one print of it. So there's only first editions. And then first editions hold a value because they are the first editions. And you think, but I don't want to pay because it's a first edition. I don't care if it's a third or fourth. But if there isn't a first edition, what do? Suddenly it's 50 quid, 75 quid for a book that you only just... All you want to do is what books are principally there for is to read, not to keep in a pristine condition to have on your shelf and then years later flog because it's a first edition or it's got a signature of the author or any of that rubbish. So there you are. But anyway, that lovely telephone there. Thank you very much for sharing that, Martin. Let's have a look, see if there's any more pictures in the favourite gadgets. We're running rapidly out of time on the show. I'm just looking around if I hadn't used up all my favourite gadgets. Of course, in the background there you see my Revox reel-to-reel tape recorder. Oh, lovely. I love it. I wish it still worked. Unfortunately, all the rubber has perished. I've had that for donkey's years. Beautiful thing. I remember when I left school, I worked in a sound studio. A couple of years after I left school, worked in a sound studio for 3 or 4 months, doing a bit of tape hopping back in the day, lacing up the tapes. And they had a Revox, but instead of the A77, which is what that is, they had a B77, which was the sort of professional version of it. Absolutely wonderful machine, but incredibly expensive. And I drooled over that. And then eventually I got the A77. I had to sort of, again, compromise and go, oh, well, it's an A7. But it's a classic. It's a classic. I love my smart watch, says Jason Bolton. And here is his smart watch. Here's a picture. Not quite sure what we're looking at. Is it a shed? We're inside a shed, peering out from the shed to the door, by the looks of things. Very good. A smart watch. Well, I'm sure it looks very smart. But what else does it do? Be interested. I'm not somebody. It's funny because my dad, I am turning into my father. This is a trait a worrying trait. When I was younger, my father could not deal with the VHS programming, TV programs and things. And when computers came out, he was running his business. He ran his own business, making aerials for a living. And he was dealing with customers all over the world. But when computers came in, he said, I'm not going to have a computer. And when the internet came in, he said, I'm not going to deal with any of that. And it's interesting. It was almost, I thought he was mad. I thought he was mad because in those days, I used to put out publicity photographs and you'd get a photographer who'd take it on an old-fashioned photo camera with film in it. And then you'd wait for that to be developed. And then every time you wanted prints, it cost an arm and a leg. And you would send it off to somebody who would put it. Agents had books which they would have printed. And your picture, along with a number of other artistes, would be in these books. And then these books would be given to potential clients, TV companies, and booking agents for various other things. And so they could rifle through it and look at your pictures. Well, this was the way it was done for years. And I remember going to an agent and they said, can we have a photograph? We're going to have a book. It will cost you 50 quid to be in the book to cover the cost of the printing. And I said to them, aren't you on the internet? I'm on the internet now. You want to get on the internet? It's the new thing. They said, no, we're not going to be on that. We're not dealing with any of that. I said, but you will be. And sure enough, down the line, of course, they did, because none of the artists, they just took their pictures on these digital phones, digital cameras, sent them in, didn't expect to pay anything thereof because it was stored on a web page. But I am now turning into my dad and moving away from technology, not really chasing after the latest this and the latest that. It must be an age thing. It must be a middle-age crisis thing. It must be somebody who's worried at the huge pace of life that we're going, that we have gadgets, and before we've even got used to them, we've moved on to the next thing. So there we are. Right, let's have a look at your comments here, see if anyone else is. John W. says it gives his location. Sometimes I think some of these gadgets are just doing stuff, they're just making stuff just to make money, aren't they? To sell you. It'll tell you your location. I mean, you could use a map, couldn't you? Or you could use your brain and work it out. That said, of course, I do use a sat-nav for some things. I was very anti-sat-navs when they came in because I thought it would take away your ability to use a map. And I think for young people it does, because a sat-nav always puts you at the centre of the map, not the world, and then you have to work out where you are on the map and then work out your route. And you get the geography of the world or your island or your town or wherever it is. But with a sat-nav, you're the centre of the map. So wherever you go, the map just scrolls into you, which is like real life because you're at the centre of your world and as you walk. But sometimes it's good to have that sense of what the world looks like out. Now, older people, I think, cope with that because they've been brought up with maps and they can work out, I'm here and the sea's over there and this is over there and north is here and that town. But particularly when you're sort of going through towns, you go, I'm going up to Birmingham and I'm on the motorway. Oh, yeah, and I know that Birmingham's going to be somewhat to the northeast or to the northwest, depending on which side you're going and which way you're going round. And, Shrewsbury and Chester are up there in the northwest, and Newcastle's going to be up there towards, Leeds is sort of more or less in the middle, somewhere up the north. It's good to have that sort of geography in your head, but if you've never looked at a map, the world just scrolls past you all the time and you can't work it out. But I found that I bought a sat-nav when I was on a job for a client and I went to Plymouth. And I was driving around Plymouth and the place was in the city centre somewhere and it was name of the road and I was getting lost. There were cars behind me, people were honking, it was all very stressful. I was late and I was lost. I had no idea where they were. I couldn't find it. So I saw back then, I think it was a Dixon's. I stopped the car on a thing and in a lay-by. I ran into Dixon's. I bought a sat-nav. It was already pretty much charged, plugged it into the thing, and it got me to where I wanted to go. And then I was converted. But I do like to look at the journey beforehand, usually now on Google Maps, but I look at it and go, oh yeah, it's up that road, because I don't necessarily want to turn the sat-nav on all the time. However, of course, with the traffic information, that's very handy. So it's difficult to sort of live in the old way of doing things, because there are, and I first to admit it, there are some fantastic innovations, but some innovations just seem to be for the sake of it, and it's trying to sift out those things which are really useful and those things which are not so much useful but sort of faddish things. I don't know whether anybody agrees with me. Colonel Cragratty says sat-nav is handy if driving alone or going somewhere new. I totally agree, as indeed my Plymouth explanation should have highlighted. Conor McLeod says a friend of mine has a shop and I think it's around £2,000 a year. What, the shop? Or I don't know what he's talking about. Give me an OS map any day, says Will Martin. Absolutely, an OS map. We are, the world leaders in that level of detail on our maps, and you've got to take your hat off to the team that used to put the OS maps together. They are brilliant. Woody Jenny says 200 is not prohibitive between us all, surely. I don't know what £200 he's talking about. See above Richard John W. It also gives his location. Right, okay. So, yes, it doesn't cancel an ambulance if dispatched. I'm not quite sure what they're on about here. Can't do without my Vax Hoover, says Alison O'Brien. No, Vax Hoover, very good indeed. Coming up to the end of the show, thank you very much for taking part in the show. It's been great fun. If anyone's got an idea for a theme or a topic for a discussion point, it's great when people are able to send in pictures of their gadgets. That's always quite nice. We have Sound 60s with his gadgets. Hi Richard, here's some of my record player gramophones, my favourite gadgets if you want to share on the show. This is John in Craven Arms in Shropshire. I've been to Craven Arms. There's a pub actually of the same name called The Craven Arms, if I remember rightly. These are beautiful machines. Here we go, look at that. Love the old telephone as well, which is very nice. We used to have a dial-up telephone when I was a youngster. And here is another one. Look at these. These are very sort of 1960s, aren't they? Teenager record player. Eco. Is it Eco? Echo? Do not throw or drop. Yeah, you could give that to the Hermes drivers now, couldn't you? Do not throw or drop, you swines. And look at these beautiful things. Yeah, that's the sort of thing. I would love to have one of those ones, his master's voice with the horn sticking out. That would be lovely. With a couple of old 78s to play on the show. That would be rather lovely. Thank you very much for sharing that. That was delightful. That was John in Craven Arms. We also have, I think, Mrs. Muddy Boots' favourite gadget is here. One of many. Ah, look at that. I've got something like that, but it's an electric one, a Singer, but not a Vesta. That's beautiful. Hand-powered Vesta sewing machine. I've got one of those in my loft. Very similar. My mother's old one, funnily enough. I think it's in the loft. Not that I have much of a loft. It's only above the bathroom. But I do have an electric sewing machine which I bought for my wife, and she no longer wanted it. She's no longer my wife. But I still have it, and I may have to use it because I want to make up some more cravats. Because I think you could just buy some fancy material and make them up yourself quite easily, so I might have to do that. Brilliant stuff, love it. Anybody got any gadget ideas? Please send, not gadget ideas, topic ideas would be fantastic. But it's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock. Audrey Forbes Hamilton used to have to put a sock in the old horns to make them quieter. Love it, love it. Can openers are a great gadget, says Archie Jenner. Yes, of course, they are fantastic. It was very nice of Alan to suggest them. And Will Martin says, I did get lost around Brown Clee Hill and the map on my phone couldn't work. No, that is a drawback, whereas the OS maps, generally, I mean, I lived with OS maps for all my life pretty much. My dad used to love them as well. But, you do go wrong from time to time. You get confused and you adamant that you're on this particular track or this path and it goes left and you go, and actually you've just missed it by a little bit because there's so much detail. It's marvellous. Elfwold says, show idea, most important lesson you have learned. There it is, most important lesson. Let's write that down. Most important lesson, life lesson, I suppose. Is that most important life lesson? And most important lesson you have learned. There we are. That'll be Friday's mystery, and we will reveal what's in this white box that was sent in. Only came actually yesterday, I think. Wendy and Mike from where are you again? Up in Nottinghamshire, of course. Thank you so much. So kind. Brilliant. Best gadget I have was an orgasmatron, the head massager, says KP, and we've got one here in the studio that lovely Julia likes to bring out and do on my bald head. There we go. So that's it. Lovely to see you and hear you and talk to you and share those things. But it's time to go, ladies and gentlemen. One has to wrap up the show at some point, and that time has come. So thanks very much for watching. Look after you. Star says, my bet that box has a tumbler mug. Oh, there we are. Who knows? Let's find out on Friday when the lovely Julia reveals all. Until then, take care. Thanks for watching. Toodle pip.